Hello there, it's Paul here and welcome along everyone. This video I'm actually going to be doing a review, and it's my own personal review, so it's not a sponsored review or anything like that, of the JSP Foresight mask that I bought for myself. If you're a subscriber to my channel and you'd watched some of my recent videos, the anniversary flower I made for my wife, I was doing an awful lot of work with my rotary tool, creating lots and lots of dust. And when I started doing that project, I was wearing one of these masks, and I've got to say that I was finding that they were not doing very well at all, so which is why I ended up looking to buy a proper mask to use. Now, the big problem I had was that we're currently in the middle of the pandemic of the coronavirus, and everywhere is shutting down here in the UK, and obviously, as you expect, everybody's panic buying because they seem to think face masks are going to stop them from catching the virus. Now, I'm not here to say whether this would help or not. This is purely and simply a review on the product for what I wanted to use it for here in my shed. I bought this from Screwfix, and I've got one literally just a few meters away from where I work, and I managed to find that this was the only one they've got in stock, so I could reserve it and walk across the road and pick it up. When I bought this, my only option was to buy it as a separate of the mask and the filters separately. When I first bought this, I was handed the box and the filters, and the first thing to me, the box, other than the image of knowing what the face mask was like, was the only relevance I had to this being the JSP Foresight. There is nothing on this box that I can find that says JSP or Foresight on it. Now, hopefully you can see here with the pictures, this is really what the face mask comes like without the filters. Now, I believe the face mask does come in different sizes, but I believe the one I bought is classed as a medium size. So you might well find that if you can go somewhere to try these on, that you can actually find one that fits more ideal for yourself. Now, the real advantage of buying just the mask on its own and the filters separate is that you can then choose the filters for what you actually need. Screwfix do actually sell this mask with these P3 press to check filters as one package. Now, the really weird thing that I've found on here is that for price wise, I paid £11.99 for the mask, and I think it was £8.99 for the filters. So that's a price of £20.98. Now, they sell this as one package, exactly the same I've got there. So it comes with the mask and these P3 press to check filters, and it's £22.99. Now, the first thing when I've read all the reviews on Screwfix's website and other websites where I've looked up at this, was that everybody moaned really at how hard it was to put the filters on. Now, the rubber on this is really quite strong and rigid, and the plastic where the filter's attached to is also strong. So you do actually, once you've got the filter pushed into its hole, you do actually have to hold the thing really tight to actually turn it. Now, to me, I would say a good thing, because you want to know that it's going to have a really tight seal for where the filter joins the mask. But installing these is really simple. I mean, that's really what the filter is like, and it only goes in one way. So you basically slot it in place to push it in there, and pushing down on the filter as you twist, get a really nice firm hold of the mask around that plastic and the filter itself, pushing down and, let's say, twisting until it clicks. It is literally no more than a quarter of a turn to put it in place. And again, depending on which side filter you're doing, just make sure you've got it the right way, so that when you've got the end point, that the filters do come back for what will be the sides of your face. For me, buying a filter mask has two major issues. The first thing is the facial hair, to knowing that you're going to get a good seal with a mask, and the second is because I wear glasses. So because I couldn't really go anywhere to try masks on, it was really just a case of trial and error with what I was ordering and hoping that it fitted okay. And when I did that flower video, when I was carving out those petals, it was actually taking me about an hour to do each petal. So I was wearing this mask for quite some time. And I will say initially it did feel rather uncomfortable. And that's probably because you really need to get it adjusted to suit yourself. And that can only really take time. But for fitting the mask is actually quite quick and simple. I mean, even for myself, where I'm wearing glasses, have to take the glasses off to put the mask on first of all, clip it all up in place, and then I can put my glasses back on. It has two elements with the straps. The first one, you really have this head strap which goes over the back of your head, so it just rests on the top half of your head, and you have two adjustment straps here. Now those straps you can actually pull tight down on while you're wearing the mask, no problem, but don't do that really until you get the other ones fastened up, and then you can adjust it properly. These other ones are basically, you put around the back of your neck, and they basically clip together just like that, and they're nice big clips that you can hold with your finger and thumb, so they're easy to do and they're not fiddly. The only problem I found with these ones is that you can't really adjust these while you're wearing them, so you may well have to undo them, might even have to take the mask off every time to then pull these so that you can get them tighter. Now the one big thing I've found with when you adjust your straps is that because this top strap is up like that, if you adjust that too tight, all you're going to do is going to pull the face mask further up. And I've found that these rubber bits, that if you have it too high, these pieces actually start affecting your actual eyes themselves, so they go into your eye sockets. So that's why you really do need to make sure this is adjusted properly, and therefore you need to have equal strength on these lower straps to keep it held down on your face. But you've got to try and get it so that really this rubber piece that goes around your face actually gets a proper seal. Then there are two types of filters you can buy for this mask, which is the press to check, and I would recommend that. They might be an extra £2 or £3 more than the basic filters, or you can just buy a filter which just fits on. Now the way the press to check works is that once you've got the mask fitted on, you basically squeeze these with your finger and thumb. Don't push them into your side of your face, because otherwise all you're doing is you're going to alter where all the mask fits onto your face. So you literally need to, once you've got the mask on, grab both filters with your finger and thumb, squeeze them, and what that does, it locks the airflow off the filters. If you then try to inhale when you're wearing the mask, hopefully you'll see the mask collapse. Now you don't have to go to the point of where the whole mask collapses down. What you're looking for is that the mask collapses a bit, because that means that you've got a seal around there, and it should be easy breathing through the filters. You should do that in various positions, because you're not necessarily going to, when you're using the filter, just have your head therefore straight in one place. So you should try it when you look up, look down, look to each of the sides, to make sure that when you press those filters to close off the airflow, you're getting the mask collapse. From what I've read, and I've only really glimpsed through the instructions, the point of when you replace these filters is that when you start finding it inhibits your airflow. Now for the actual type of filters you buy, there are different sorts depending on what you want for. For me, I work in my shed here, and my primary thing is all about wood dust. So there need to be the P type filters, and as I say, there are different types of filters for chemicals and all sorts like that. So please do look at the manufacturer's website and wherever else you can find a list of what the filters are actually for, to what you want, and do buy the correct filters for what you're using them for. But on the P filters, I would say that you can buy some cheaper ones which they're classed as a P2 filter. But again, for that extra £1 or £2, I would certainly recommend going up to the P3. The P3 does a lot finer filtration of dust, like wood dust. As you can probably see on the picture, the mask itself, without the filters, there is literally nothing there. And for maintenance wise, I believe, certainly read the instructions properly. You can wipe it all over with a damp cloth, maybe possibly soapy water, just to clean it all up if you need to. And this does unclip here. I haven't actually tried to unclip it yet. You might have to just push that bit in there to take this off. You can actually take the diaphragm out of there and clean all up inside, and then just clip it all back in place, so it's fully maintainable. Now the other thing that came with the box as well, which you can probably see on the side here, is this JSP bag. And this is the only place, other than probably the instructions inside, that I've seen JSP mentioned. It's a very thin plastic bag but it's an ideal storage bag. You can pop your mask in when you're finished with it. You've got some string ties there, you can just pull just to close it up. So at least like where I will be storing this in my shed here, even though it will probably be in another bag, I can reduce the amount of dust that's getting in the mask, so that every time I need to actually use it, I can pick it out and it's hopefully just as clean as when I put it away. So how have I found the mask? Well, as I said, I was using this for probably long periods, about an hour at a time, before I actually took it off. Initially, I found that this was a little bit sort of uncomfortable, and it's really more of where it goes around the nose on the top here. And as I say, some of that could well be of adjustment, but because of the way the mask is built, and it has to be built this way, you're getting sort of a double thickness of rubber around the top here. You've got that tight corner around the top here, which is the most uncomfortable part. But I've got to say, for sealing wise, and especially with my facial hair, it does a really good job. For my glasses though, for me, this hasn't worked out too bad. If you wanted your glasses to fit you normally, as they do here, you may well have to actually alter your glasses themselves, which is not really an ideal thing to do, because you don't want to be modifying your glasses all the time, because eventually they will break. But for me, what I find is that with my eyesight and my glasses, is that usually when I'm working with things a lot closer, especially when I was using this, is that I will often have my glasses down my nose a little bit. So when they fit over this, your glasses are naturally coming away from your eyes a little bit, and it is a benefit to me. It does take a little bit of getting used to, because they are obviously sort of raised a little bit as well, so you have to adjust the way you sort of like tilt your head and work. Now you will find as well, as you use this, especially if you use it for reasonable periods of time, you will get some condensation build up, and that is usually noticeable probably around the diaphragm area on the inside here, on the red plastic, but it's more noticeable that you'll get it on this clear plastic on the inside here. And it's not just down to temperature. I mean, obviously if you're working in a much cooler environment, your condensation is going to build up a lot more. When I was using this, it was at least 20 degrees centigrade in my shed here, if not higher, when I was doing this. And because I was using it for an hour, I could actually see all the condensation build up on there. And that's naturally because probably the moisture in the air, and certainly the moisture of the air that you're breathing out all the time. As I said at the beginning of the video, this is my own personal review. I went out, looked for this myself, and bought it with my own money, so there's no sponsorship on this whatsoever. It is solely a personal review, and again, where I find this suitable for me might not be suitable for you, but hopefully giving you sort of a more detailed review of what the whole mask is like may well help for you to decide whether you want to buy one or not. Thanks a lot for watching.